Have you ever scrolled through your social media feed and felt like every brand was shouting at you, but none were actually talking to you? You aren't alone. In an era of digital noise at an all-time high, the gap between a brand's posts and consumers' beliefs is growing wider. We live in a world where a like is easy to get, but a buy requires something far more valuable: trust. When we talk about the buyer's journey, the consideration stage is often where the magic or the tragedy happens. This is the moment when a potential customer knows they have a problem, they know you exist, and they are now asking the million-dollar question: can I actually trust these people? Building trust with social media is no longer a nice-to-have marketing goal. It is a fundamental requirement for survival. If your brand doesn't feel credible on the platforms where people spend their leisure time, it won't feel credible when it comes time for them to open their wallets. But how do you bridge that gap? How do you move from being a face in the crowd to a trusted authority? How do you increase trust? The modern trust deficit. Why credibility is your new currency. Before we dive into the how, we need to look at the why. Why is it so hard for brands to build rapport today? The truth is that we are in the middle of a trust deficit. According to the 2024 Edelman Trust Barometer, nearly 84% of global consumers report that they need to share values with a brand before they feel comfortable buying from it. The social media landscape has shifted. A decade ago, a flashy ad might have been enough. Today, consumers are savvy. They look for red flags. They check your comments to see if you ignore complaints. They look for real photos from real people. They want to see if you are human. Is your social feed a monologue of promotions or a dialogue of shared values? If it's the former, you're likely losing people before they even get to your website. Building trust with social media requires a shift in perspective. You have to stop viewing your platforms as billboards and start viewing them as your brand's living room. It is where you host guests, answer questions, and show your true character. The anatomy of social credibility. What does a credible brand look like online? It isn't just about having a blue check mark next to your name. True credibility is built on three pillars: authenticity, consistency, and transparency. When a user is in the consideration stage, they are looking for social proof. They want to know that other people have used your product and had a good experience. In fact, research shows that 78% of consumers believe a brand's social presence has a larger impact on trust today than it did just a year ago. This means your social media presence is essentially a public-facing resume. If that resume is full of typos, unanswered questions, and overly polished corporate speak, you are failing the trust test. Strategy 1. The power of social proof and user-generated content, UGC. One of the most effective ways to build trust with social media is to let your customers do the talking for you. This is known as user-generated content, UGC. Think about the last time you bought a product on Amazon. Did you read the brand's description first, or did you scroll down to the pictures taken by real customers? Most of us go straight to the real photos. We want to see how the product looks in a real home, not a photo studio. The numbers back this up. Statistics show that UGC is 2.4x more likely to be perceived as authentic than content created by the brand itself. Furthermore, 79% of people say that UGC highly impacts their purchasing decisions. Why UGC works? UGC works because it removes the sales pitch from the equation. When a customer posts a photo of your product, they aren't being paid to tell a story. They are sharing a real moment. This creates a peer-to-peer effect that brands simply cannot replicate on their own. How to implement it? To leverage this, you don't need a massive budget. You just need to be observant. Curation over creation. Instead of always trying to stage the perfect shot, look at your tagged photos. Ask for permission to share those real-life moments on your main feed. The review grid. Take your best Google or Facebook reviews and turn them into simple, clean graphics for Instagram or LinkedIn. Create a brand hashtag. Encourage your followers to use a specific hashtag when they use your product. This creates a searchable library of social proof that new prospects can explore. When you show that real people are happy with your brand, you remove the risk from the consideration stage. You aren't just a company, you're a community. Strategy 2. Responsiveness as a trust signal. Imagine you walk into a store, ask a clerk a question, and they just stare at you in silence. You would probably walk right back out, wouldn't you? On social media, many brands do exactly this. They post content, but they don't engage. They ignore comments, don't check their DMs, and treat their followers like a broadcast audience rather than a community. Responsiveness is perhaps the most underrated trust signal in digital marketing. According to Sprout Social, 73% of customers will buy from a competitor if they don't receive a response on social media. Even more striking is that 51% of consumers believe the most memorable thing a brand can do is simply provide a response. The human touch. In the age of AI, a human response is a luxury. While chatbots are great for basic tracking info, 55% of users still prefer human-made content and human interaction for complex issues. If a customer asks a question in your comments and no one answers, does the brand still exist in their mind? Probably not. Or worse, it exists as a brand that doesn't care. Actionable tip: set a response window for your team. Even if you can't solve a problem immediately, a simple "Hi name, we see your question and we're looking into this for you" goes a long way. It shows that someone is home. It shows that there is a person behind the logo. Strategy 3: educational content, edutainment versus hard selling. In the consideration stage, the buyer is looking for information. They want to learn. They want to know how your product works, why it's better than the rest, and how it will fit into their lives. If all you do is post buy now ads, you aren't helping them. You're just nagging them. The most successful brands today use a strategy often called edutainment. This is content that is both educational and entertaining. Research indicates that 2/3 of social users find edutainment to be the most engaging type of brand content. Building authority. When you teach your audience something, you aren't just providing value, you're building authority. If you are a skincare brand, don't just sell a moisturizer. Post a video explaining the difference between hyaluronic acid and ceramides. If you are a B2B software company, don't just show a demo. Post a LinkedIn article about the top 3 mistakes companies make with their data security. By positioning yourself as a teacher, you naturally become a trusted advisor. People don't want to be sold, but they love to buy from people who help them. How to do it: Reels and TikToks. Use short-form video to answer the top 5 questions your sales team gets every week. The behind the scenes. Show how your product is made. Show the warehouse. Show the office. This transparency builds a narrative that a simple product shot can't match. Strategy 4: navigating influencers and partnerships. Influencer marketing has a bit of a reputation problem. We've all seen the sponsored posts that feel fake and forced. However, when done right, influencers are a powerful tool for building trust with social media. The key is moving away from celebrity and moving toward authority. You don't need a movie star to sell your product. You need someone respected in your niche. Statistics show that 69% of consumers trust product recommendations from influencers they follow. The transparency rule. However, there is a catch. Trust is fragile. If a partnership isn't disclosed properly, 70% of consumers feel negatively about the brand. To build credibility through influencers, you must choose partners whose values align with yours. If you are a sustainable clothing brand, don't partner with an influencer known for fast fashion hauls. Your audience will see right through it. Authenticity is about alignment. Overcoming the challenges of digital distrust. Building trust isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There are real hurdles to overcome. Gartner recently projected that nearly 50% of consumers might limit their social media usage due to widespread distrust and platform fatigue. So, how do you stand out in an environment of skepticism? 1. Be consistent. Consistency is a psychological trigger for safety. If your brand looks and sounds the same across all platforms, it feels stable. Most modern users interact with a brand across an average of 6.8 different platforms. If your Twitter X is sassy, but your LinkedIn is corporate stiff, you create cognitive dissonance. Pick a voice and stick to it. 2. Be transparent about data. In a world of data breaches and privacy concerns, being open about how you handle customer information is a massive trust builder. Don't hide your privacy policy in a tiny link. If you're using a lead magnet on social media, be clear about what people are signing up for. 3. Admit mistakes. No brand is perfect. If you make a mistake, A late shipment, a technical glitch, or an insensitive post, own it. A public, sincere apology often builds more trust than 1,000 perfect posts ever could. It shows that you are accountable. The connection between credibility and revenue. At the end of the day, we aren't just building trust for the sake of being nice. We are building it because it is the engine of growth. When a consumer feels a genuine connection to a brand, 57% will increase their spending with that company, and 76% will choose them over a competitor. Trust is the ultimate competitive advantage. In a sea of options, the brand that feels the most real is the one that wins. Building a path forward. Building trust with social media is a marathon, not a sprint. It is a cumulative result of every interaction, every reply, and every piece of content you put out into the world. You are building a reputation one post at a time. Are you ready to stop just posting and start building? It starts with asking the right questions. It starts with listening to your audience. And it starts with a commitment to being as helpful as you are visible. At Aspiration Marketing, we understand that building brand credibility is complex. It requires a blend of strategy, data, and a deep understanding of human behavior. We specialize in helping brands navigate these challenges by creating tangible solutions that bridge the gap between marketing effort and true user engagement. Whether you're looking to optimize your social media presence, build digital authority, or turn your brand's credibility into a sustainable revenue stream, we are here to help. Trust is the foundation of every successful business, and we are dedicated to helping you build it, one connection at a time. If you are ready to take the next step in your brand's journey, we invite you to explore our comprehensive guide on brand credibility, or reach out to our team for a strategy audit today. Let's build something credible together.